Hey, what is up, YouTube? It's Soul here, and I'm back after like a month and a half hiatus. Bringing you another deck profile. It's going to be a Gold Paladin deck. It's the Ezel Stride. Um, it's not like the completed Ezel deck, and then with the strides put in, it's mixed with the Gurguit deck as well. First, we're gonna start off with the starter, which is Rising Lionette. You put him into the soul, and when you do, when your other unit's placed on rearguard from your deck, you may put this into the soul, get 5,000 until the end of the turn. It gets if it hits a Vanguard when it attacks, you can pay 1. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and Superior Call. Again, that's interchangeable too with other starters. Say like, oh, I want to run like the Superior Ride Ezel format. You just run Curse. You can also run any of the Gold Paladin starters for this deck, because it works really well. We're gonna go for triggers. Second, standard rainbow triggers of 4 crits. I forgot his name. Flame of Victory. Put him into the soul. Plus 3,000 to a lot of units. It's good to power up Gurguit for your soul and such. Next we have, of course, the 4 draws. When it's called from deck, it gives 2,000 to another unit. It's really good that you don't really need to run these if you plan on like using this video as like a tutorial on how to build your own version of it if you like it. You don't really need to run draws. You can just run like more stands or more crits if you really prefer, but I like to have the draw power and such. It's very nice. Plus he gives 2,000 if he's superior called, so he's not a bad call. Next we have 2 Catch Goal Liberators. Oops, I'll put these over here. Sorry, I'm at home this time recording because it's Thursday, and I figured I haven't uploaded anything in quite a while, so I might as well. And then we have 2 Gigantic Ringers. Catch Goal is when he's called from deck, you put him on the bottom, or you can put him on the bottom, and then look at the top 3 cards of your deck and Superior Call. It can't be the same card, so of course. And then we have Gigantic Ringer. When a unit's called from your deck, you may put him on top of your deck and shuffle, draw, and that unit gets plus 5,000. This called unit. You can run more or less of the 2. It's basically preference. I like to run 2 and 2 because just in case I superior call this guy, and if I have him on rear guard, I can just beef up whoever I call. So using his skill as well. So it's very nice. And then next is standard 4 heal triggers. It's nothing new about that. For grade 1s, we have 2 Liberator Bright Bicorn. It's for Ezel and the other Limit Breaker I have in here. Limit Break and Neighbor, really good. Really nice to have if you run Limit Breaks. And then after that we have 3, oops, I keep forgetting, I should probably just place them for my left hand. Knight of Elegant Skills Gareth, good for first ride and good for boosting. 8k, and I guess good for attacking and such stuff like that. After that, we have 4 Dawning Knight Gorboduck. I'm just gonna call him Ducky. How about that? We'll just call him Ducky. 4 of him, Stride Enabler. When he's placed on rear guard, you can reveal a grade 3 from your hand, search your deck for Gurguit, and then discard a card from your hand. Or you add Gurguit to your hand and then you discard 1 from your hand. So it's very nice if you really want to get Gurguit out on the field. And I can't pick these up on my Gurg. Ooh, sorry if I sound kind of boring. I'm pretty exhausted. I've been taking new medication and such, and a lot has been happening over these past month or so. So yeah, and I figured I can't leave YouTube down like that because it's been quite a while. Okay, after that we have 4 perfect cards. Halo Shield Mark. When you use Gurguit skills with Superior Call, if it's like, here, I have it with me. Just give me 1 second. If it's like this, the newer perfect like that one, this one, it won't activate from Gurguit skill because this one has to be called from your hand for it to activate. Versus Mark, or the older perfects per se, it can just be called from deck and then you still be able to use it. So that's very nice in that regard. And then this deck is pretty counterblast heavy, as you'll see going on later on. 2 Knife Throwing Knight, Malignant. I usually don't use like the last part of the name. I just usually like, oh, Knife Throwing Knight, you know, or call this that type of approach. You can Soul Blast too, and unflip 2 damage, which is really nice. That's also why we have Flame of Victory, so we can pump up the soul for that as well. And next we have 2 Vivians. Good for grade 2 Vanguard if for the pressure, because your opponent's probably not going to want you to get that free unit call. Late game, it's still pretty decent, but you'll be wanting to use Poil more often than Vivian, because Poil is as long as it attacks the Vanguard, and you have more options to call. But this is just a good backup. After that, we have 2 Flash Heads Valkyries. When she's called from deck, you may pay the cost to pay 1 Superior Call top card of your deck to open rear guard. This is very nice, so that way if you need multiple rear guards on the spot, and just so happen to get her, boom, get her, and then like Superior Call, oh, another grade 2 for the other side. Oh, Vivian right there. Yeah, it can be a dead draw or dead call in Spectre. It's decent. It's just a win or lose situation. After that, we have 2 Knight of Superior Skills Bowman. Just for the 10k base power, so if I don't get Vivian in hand and such, and I have him, I can have him as a really good defensive card for if I want to stall my opponent if they're using a heavy reliant stride deck, and such like that. So yeah. And then after we have 4 Holy Mage Poils, because after you stride, you can pay 1 when he attacks a Vanguard. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can call it to any rear guard, so it can be occupied or not, which makes it really interesting for this type of for the newer Go Paladin decks. To be honest, I always liked it to be based on luck, because you know the game's kind of based on luck, but still it's fun trying to see what you get. Even if it's bad, it can still be useful in some way, you know. But I guess Bushiroad wanted to change it a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty good card. It's a staple for this deck, for how this deck's played, I mean. Next we'll go for the grade 3s. We have 2 Awakening Liberator Freeds. So if I have the early Limit Breaker on the field and I have him in my hand, ride him, pay 1 and get 2 free units, because you pay the counterblast 1, Limit Break. When he's placed on Vanguard, look at the top 2 cards from your deck, Superior Column to 2 open rear guard slots. So it's very nice to fill up those rear guards. Good for late game too, if you're really needing rear guards on the spot. So yeah. Next we have 3 Incandescent Line Blonde Ezels. I chose 3 because I like to run Freed, because Freed is very, very nice as a backup. And again, Limit Break is an amazing backup for Stride, because there are all those people out there that they stick on grade 2, so you can't Stride. And if you're not able to Stride in a heavy Stride deck or in a Stride focus deck sorry, my throat's kind of off today too. you won't be able to do much. You just have like 9k vanillas, 8k vanillas, 6k vanillas that have no bonus effects, so it's kind of useless, you know. And also it's good for people who are grade stuck, because you can just pound them at grade 2, and then boom, ride a limit breaker, activate its effect. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ezel's effect is you can counterblast 2, look at the top card of your deck, call it to an open rear guard, and then Ezel's power gets increased by the unit called. So, for example, if I superior call, like Freed or something, you know, Ezel's going to get it plus 11,000. His 10k base doesn't really hinder you too much. To some people it might, but it's okay. His secondary effect is a continuous. During your turn, he gets 1,000 power for each gold paladin rear guard, which is very, very nice. So yeah, he can easily hit for over 20,000, and with no issue, of course, with this type of deck. And then of course we have, and of course we have 3 Sunrise Ray Knight Gurguit. They could have done better with that name. I'm sorry. Anyway, GB2, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1. At the beginning of your guard step of the battle that this unit was attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, search for up to 1 card, and you can superior call it to guard. Or I guess superior guard, something like that. Secondary effect is during your turn, when you do unit stride, you may pay the cost. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 card from among them, call it to any rear guard, shuffle your deck, and that unit gets plus 2,000. Now, it's really good for a combo that you can do in this deck, and of course it's really good for being defensive as well. So yeah, he's pretty decent in regards. If you build the deck just straight off of him, there's not a lot of attack power you'll be having, so it's good to mix him with other decks. I've noticed when other people usually build theirs, they have issues with like actually going ham per se, you know, trying to game it and such. But excuse me, sorry. But with this deck, it's good for aggro. Whoops, almost dropped a card. For strides, we have 2 Absolution King Lion Mithril Ezel. Counterblast 1, choose the same card, flip it face up. And if you have a Heart with Ezel, unlock all your rear guards, and then look at the top 4 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 card from among them, call it to any rear guard, shuffle your deck, and Ezel gains that power of the unit called, and the unit called gains its own power. So again, per se, if I superior call Gurguit's getting 11,000, Ezel's getting 11,000. So it's good for early game powerhousing and early game, just to get the GB2 off. So if you plan on using him pretty early, you have all your defenses throughout the whole entire game. Next we have 3 Scourge Point Dragons. When a unit's called the rear guard from deck, Scourge Point and the unit called gets plus 5,000. Now, for a good combo for this type of deck, the reason why I use it is if I get Gurguit early, you use that skill, superior call, and no matter what you call, you're still going to be benefiting from, and you save a pool, at least 1 pool in your hand, and you call him and make sure he's boosted and such. And depending on what you get through his skill, Gurguit's stride skill is depending on how much you can boost it up by. Now you can combo it with, just give me 1 second, with Catch Goal, so that way when he's superior called, you can put him on the bottom of the deck and then superior call another unit on top of it. So it's very, very nice. And I think turn 3, if everything goes well, you can hit for well over 46,000. And that's a lot of pressure for early game. So yeah. 3 of those, very nice. And then next for the final strides here, let me just get these out the way. Fast Chase Golden Knight Campbell's. They eroded it, or I think that's how you say it. They changed his name from Campbell to Campbell, but of course this is the older version of it. So yeah, when his attack is a Vanguard, you may pay the cost, or you don't pay any cost. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and choose one card, call it to any rear guard, shuffle your deck, and that card gets plus 2,000. Good for filling up rear guards early game and stuff like that. So yeah, that was my Gold Paladin deck. I could do another one, because I built a really nice Garmor deck, and it's not stride heavy. It's like it's strides just for backup and such. So yeah, but it's really nice. I could do that one too if I feel up to it, you know, because it took a lot to actually record this one. And yeah, as for like other cards you can substitute for is you can add more Freeds if you so choose to. You could add the Law-Abiding Knights if you really wanted to. You could basically just add like anything you want into the deck and it'd be good. And as long as you have the call power to boost up Scourge Point, because Scourge Point is your main grade, or your main unit for this type of deck, and it's basically your winning image. So yeah, that was mine, and I'm gonna have to cut the outro pretty short, but I have returned and I have a lot more videos coming up for you hopefully pretty soon, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.